Yeah. Yeah.
What's going on, everybody?
What's going on? What's going on, man?
So now you all relaxed. You know, you over in Vegas, Doc. You supposed
Absolutely,
to be
man. Hold on. Somebody at my door. I don't know if it's the housekeeper.
Okay.
Hold on 1 second.
That's all good. Ladies and gentlemen, first of all, my name is Chris Allen. I got my partner, just went to the door. Maurice Murphy, the bearded one. He is actually in Vegas. I am not in Vegas. I'm in Jacksonville, Florida. My man is in Vegas. Somebody is knocking on the door. You know what I'm saying? But this is a live show, so we got to do what we do. We want to welcome you guys back to another episode of Real Talk and Real Estate. I am your host, Chris Allen. I got my other co-host. I'm not even say co-host. He's just the host. We just host over here. My man, Maurice Murphy. What's going on, Doc?
What's going on, man? Hey, we are out here. I'm out here in Vegas, man. I'm having a blast.
Yeah.
And this EXP Con is just crazy. See him in the hotel room.
Yeah.
Man, it's been amazing 2 days, man. Absolutely amazing, man.
I definitely wanted to be there with you. Fortunately, I have a play that's coming up, and it was gonna mix in between my rehearsals and all that. So I wasn't able to make it, but I know you out there gathering all that information, surrounding yourself with top quality EXP agents.
Man,
is that gonna be another show, or we're gonna get into it today? We're gonna probably get into it tonight because, ladies and gentlemen, we got somebody on the show tonight that could probably break the whole EXP Econ thing down for us right here on the show. So we got
absolutely.
But before we jump into that, let's pay some bills first.
Let's pay some bills. Hey, first up, we got my man Chris Allen just dropped his book. It's time to make a shift. So the book is out right now on Amazon.
I love it.
All right.
Look at it. I appreciate it.
Next paying the bill, we got Miss Mortgages by Linda.
Hi, I'm Linda Garcia with Mortgages by Linda. We have over 21 years of experience in the mortgage industry, and we work with 15 different wholesale lenders to get you the lowest interest rates. We provide excellent customer service and look forward to helping you with your mortgage. Click on the ad below.
So that is Mortgages by Linda. She is our preferred partner on the show, bringing you great content for us. You can reach her at teammbl.com or 1-877-TEAM-MBL. Mortgages by Linda. She'll take great care of you out there.
Absolutely. We thank her for she's actually one of our first sponsors.
Absolutely.
Of the show. And so she reached out to us, and we were so thankful that she did. And she came on board and said, whatever we need to do, let's make it happen. And so we thank her for just believing in us, believing in the vision. So salute to you, Linda.
Absolutely, man. Hey, like you said, man, we got an amazing guy that's coming on the show today, man. Like he made a complete shift in the real estate space. He is still a licensed real estate agent. He's an expert financial and business coach nowadays. So I think he still might sell a house here or there.
We're going to ask him tonight because I got to know, are you selling any houses? That's why we're going to talk about it tonight. We're going to talk about it. What them checks look like. We're going to talk about it.
Absolutely, man. So like I said, hey, we got Mr. Matt Plumer. He's an expert financial and business coach, speaker, and author. So basically what he does is he helps real estate agents and entrepreneurs become financially organized and debt-free. If you don't know, he was on the what's the guy's show name? I forget it. I'll tell you. He'll tell you about it.
Ramsey?
Yeah, he's on Dave Ramsey. He's on Dave Ramsey. Yeah, he sure was. He was on the show. So that they can be experience peace and build stress-free life. Man, because we all know, man, that money stresses you out when you ain't got it. So he's focused on helping agents create lifestyles that are free from pain and fear. And he's leading them to profit, creating a business that funds their dream life. Hey, let's bring to the show Mr. Matt Plumer.
I'll clap him up. I know we're going to have some stuff, but I'll clap him up, baby. God, dog. Welcome to the show, Mr. Matt.
Man, do you guys have one of them lights that says applause now?
That's like what we need. We need it. Listen, you make it very, very easy for folk to applaud you, man. You're doing some amazing thing in the game. So salute to you and all you're doing.
Well, I saw Maurice last night, and Maurice won Vegas 0. Maurice won Vegas 0. 1 night in. He was killing it last night.
Wow.
Absolutely.
What you was out there playing poker?
Hey man, man, I can't tell you what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. See, that's what it is. You can't tell you what happened.
That's right.
I love it. I love it. Well, Matt, listen, man. I know that you're very busy.
Good job. It's an honor to be here. Thank you.
Thank you. I know you're very, very busy, man, and you're doing some amazing things here in the industry, within the company, in the real estate game. So I don't know how long we're going to have you tonight. So before they pull you away, you know, because I know you're probably busy, we want to jump into it and just get some great information from you, man, and break it all down for us. Break it down for us.
Yeah, sounds good.
So start us off with Matt. So who is Matt Plumer? Who is Matt? Where you from? What do you do? Give us the real deal.
So it's always, you know, obviously everybody, you know, goes all the way back to the beginning and then they bring you all the way forward. But ultimately, at the end of the day, my number one mission on life is helping real estate agents, entrepreneurs, couples, high income earning, or even, you know, high income earning couples, right? Experience the transformation, financial transformation that Melinda and I had that has led us on the journey that we've been on, right? And so I think it's important to just know that everyone that's out there is either just a chapter or two behind or a chapter or two ahead, right? Most of us that are running in the same circles aren't, you know, books ahead, right? Or movies ahead. We're just one plot or one story, you know, ahead or behind. So, you know, who I am at the core is obviously a husband, a Christian, a man of faith, and someone that has built, I've been a mess, right? The past, you know, the previous 20 plus years of my life was a mess. And I was fortunate enough to have a wife that bet on me and bet on our marriage. And through that helped my mess become my message. Man. And so, you know, a decade plus ago, I was 300 pounds, alcoholic, addictive sports gambler, smoking a pack of cigarettes or two a day, and went on a journey of attacking one thing at a time and starting with the smallest domino and truly the thing that can help matter or move the needle the most, and lost a few pounds, started drinking less. And that compound effect of some of those habits turned into losing 100 pounds and finding accepting Jesus, losing 100 pounds, quit gambling, quit smoking. And I went through all of that, or we went through all of that, really inside of a company called Visalis, the Body by Vi 90-Day Challenge. Was how we lost weight. It's how I met some of my closest friends. But then all of that, we went through all of that and finally uncovered we had $551,000 worth of debt. Mortgage, student loans, cars, timeshares, taxes, everything, personal loans. And so I simply went on another journey. I reached out to a couple of friends and mentors and was exposed to Dave Ramsey and Financial Peace University. And we went down that journey just like I'd lost 100 pounds and just like how I became sober. And so fast forward, who I am today was when we got through and paid off and eliminated all the debt in 2017, I knew I needed a vehicle to go make more money, right? I had spent a year, spent 3.5 years cutting, sacrificing, doing all this, but I knew I wasn't going to go build stress-free wealth without a vehicle to go make money. And that's how I landed into real estate. And so I started selling a few houses, started having conversations with real estate agents about what they do with their money when they start making it, and quickly realized that real estate agents were simply selling real estate this month to pay last year's taxes.
That's good.
And so at that point, I knew my calling in the world of real estate was going to be with the agent, not with the buyer or the seller. And so thousands of conversations later, hundreds of coaching clients, retreats, events, masterminds, etc. We find ourselves here in Las Vegas. We've made a move across the country 1.5 years ago, bought a home, built out a backyard, all by serving people in the season that they're in, helping them get to the next season.
Got you. So go ahead.
So you said 2018 is when you jumped into the real estate game? Was it 2018?
So 17 I became licensed.
Okay. So from 2017 to 2024, you've been on this journey of when did you start doing the coaching piece?
Sometime in 2019, I hired a coach right about this time 4 years ago. hired a coach and said, hey, this is what I want. I understand this is what you are currently doing, which matches up with what I want. Can you help me?
Wow.
And he was his name's Hank Evink. Hank was a few chapters ahead, and he reached back and he had dropped enough breadcrumbs along the way. And so I just started picking up breadcrumbs and doing the work that he teaches in his coaching. And, 48 months later, here we are back in Las Vegas where I met him originally. And yeah.
That's good. That's good. I have a question, Maurice, if you got one.
Yeah, I got one. So I want to kind of go back. Go back. So you went through a journey of losing 100 pounds, becoming less sober. Was there something that caused that, or was something that got you to that point to where you gained all that weight? Was it something traumatic that happened, or was it just, what was that?
On gaining the weight?
Yes, on gaining the weight. Yes.
No, dude, it's just called McDonald's every day. Bro, you don't gain 100 pounds and become 300 pounds by going through the drive-through once.
Right.
Yes.
You combine it with, I make money.
Mm-hmm.
I never had an income problem, right?
Okay.
I just always had a lifestyle that tried to out-earn my spending.
Mm-hmm.
And that addiction of that bled into, right, my eating, right, my drinking, my gambling, right, and all of it is interwoven.
Okay.
Right, and of how when you're an addict, you're an addict, right?
Yeah.
A lot of the things just haven't come to the surface, and it just emphasizes more of who you are, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you're an addict and you make more money, right, if you make more money but you're bad with it, it doesn't matter, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you're a jerk and you're an addict, you're just going to become a bigger jerk.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right. It just emphasizes who you are. So I had to, one, change that, but then also two, real estate was that vehicle to allow me to really go impact a lot of people.
Gotcha.
Now, Matt, you said that you never had an income. Income was never your issue.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to go back just a little bit. You talked about how you were involved in a network marketing company, which is Visalis. And then was the network marketing, was that your claim to fame before you jumped into the real estate industry?
Yeah. So it was actually, there's an underlying lesson in this transformation on the front end. Is, after I had lost some weight, lost about 30 pounds. And I'd say 30 pounds, when you're 300 pounds, that's some weight, right?
that was off your pinky.
You lose 30 pounds and that's like the world ended, right? But hey, I lost 30 pounds. So I had lost some weight. I was able to stop drinking. And I had stopped betting. I'd stopped playing cards and blackjack and sports betting. And so when you have those addictions and you eliminate those over the course of 3 to 4 months, you've created a massive void of time from about 3 o'clock to 10 o'clock during the day.
Wow.
And so I started looking forward. I'm like, hey, man, you've done this before, right? You've gone, moments of brilliance of losing some weight and not drinking for 30 days or whatever. But why did I always go back? And so transformation, this is key for your listeners. Transformation is a 3-step process: awareness, decision, intentionality. Awareness, decision, intentionality. And so in that moment, I'd gone through a very small transformation in a very short period of time. And so I went back through and said, okay, hey, what's coming up 60 days from now that led me to always going back to drinking, right? Why did I always, if I went 30 days of losing weight or not drinking or not gambling, why did I always start again? And so I looked forward and I said, man, I got chicken wings and sports and football, and the fall season is just littered with sports.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And so I'm like, hey, I have to find something to fill this void or else I'm just going to go back. And so I was exposed to Visalis at the right time. In 2012, I had already lost some weight. It's a weight loss company. It was the number one challenge platform on the planet.
Yeah.
And I had already told people that I had lost weight. Now I just had a vehicle and a way to monetize it. And so that was my exposure to entrepreneurship, because I was a corporate America guy for, all the way until 32 or 33, whenever that was. So I had no idea how to go make money. I didn't have an idea how to make money other than a paycheck.
Got it.
And so that was my exposure to entrepreneurship, that, hey, I could go out and sell something, connect with somebody, build a relationship, serve them, be compensated. It taught me residual income, like all of that. And that's 11 years later. That's here we are.
Okay.
Gotcha.
So that's a 4-year. That was a 4-year run that you had with ViSalus, then, about a 4-year run.
Yeah, it was a 3-4 year run. Both my wife and I were Body by Vi champions. Mm-hmm. We were the face of the transformation side of the company, not necessarily the business side. Although we got, we were massive customer acquirers, right? I mean, who's gonna tell the guy that has transformed his life that a $50 bag of shake mix didn't work?
Right.
You can't tell me it doesn't work, right? Mm-hmm. So it was easy for us to get customers, which was the bridge. And I think network marketing is such a great vehicle for that. It's the bridge to get you from point A to point B.
That's good.
It's not necessarily the vehicle that's going to make you rich or build all this wealth. I mean, very, very, very few people achieve that in network marketing. But it helps people get from A to B and is the bridge. And it was definitely that for us.
That's good. Maurice, you got one?
No, go ahead.
Okay. So I can keep them coming. So let's go. So when you jumped into real estate, so from 2012 to 2016, 2017, you were doing Body by Vi. And then you decided at some point, this vehicle is over.
Yep.
This vehicle is over. And now we have to make another decision, because now you probably got accustomed to a particular financial lifestyle.
Yeah, it wasn't necessarily the lifestyle. It was, hey, we need to still go make money.
Okay.
And I needed something to go do, because we had, from 14 to 17, we had paid off all of our debt. So It wasn't like we had to go make $10,000 to live a certain lifestyle. We needed to go make an extra $10,000 or a new 10 grand to start actually going to build wealth.
Got it.
Yeah, it had nothing to do with our lifestyle, because, Melinda and I figured out how to live on nothing. Mm-hmm. She had her salary. We figured out how to live on it. Plus, a couple of the things that I did. So it was never to sustain a lifestyle. It was to actually, we needed a new vehicle to go make some money, to build wealth.
Out of all the vehicles in the world that you could have chose, why real estate? What was it about real estate that got you to say, okay?
Couple reasons. One, anyone can start in any market at zero. Yep. I had a network, but I didn't know what a contract. I didn't know how to read a contract. I didn't know how to write an offer. I didn't know how to show a house, but I knew how to have a conversation with Susie and Bob, right? And ask questions and uncover and start to discover why they wanted to buy a house or why they wanted to sell their house. It was also, and you go back to ViSalus, I mentioned it. Nobody could tell me that the bag of shake mix didn't work. It was a $50 bag of shake mix. I couldn't sell enough $50 bags of shake mix. But I could go and rest in Virginia or Northern Virginia. I could go sell a $750,000 house. So my ticket price went up dramatically.
There you go.
Right. So I needed a different widget that allowed me to make more money. Right. And looking back, if I went into life insurance or financial services or anything like that, the amount of repetitions that it takes to sell, looking back over the last 5 years, I don't think we would have been able to land in Las Vegas and build our house like it was part of the plan back in 2020 if I didn't have a high ticket item to go sell people or to offer them, obviously, to serve them, right? I still don't consider myself a salesperson, even though I do financial coaching and, it's X amount of dollars a year. The conversation to sign up with me now is just, do you want to do this or this, right? There's no sell to it. So it's the same thing with real estate. I didn't care if you bought or sold a house. If you needed help, I'd help you. Right. And so that process of getting from point A to point B, back in 10 years ago, it was ViSalus. Today, it was real estate.
Mm-hmm.
It was just a vehicle for me to go increase my velocity of income with a higher widget.
Gotcha. So I want to talk about this really quick. So you got into real estate. So I want to know, what were you seeing from agents, or what were you witnessing from agents that made you make that shift to say, okay, hey, let me go in a different direction of financial, helping them with financial, like.
So I found that's two really good questions. Why real estate, and then how did you go from real estate to coaching? So, Chris, part of the answer I didn't give you was you can go build whatever you wanted in the world of real estate, right? Because I'm in Northern Virginia. There are thousands of successful real estate agents. Some of my closest friends are solo agents, and some of my closest friends are team leaders.
Mm-hmm.
So I see the lifestyle they have, and I'm like, I want that.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I went to go get that, I looked under the engine, or I looked under the hood, saw the engine. I was like, this is not what I want. So I knew that I could easily serve my database. I could serve my community. However, I knew that building a 7th level or a 6th level or a 5th level team was not what I wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And so like one touches the other. So I'm having conversations with, this is back in the Northern Virginia office, Ryan Zook, Rob Chavez. These are Pat Flynn, Matt Elliott, the team leader, the broker. I'm understanding all of this stuff of what it takes. And I'm like, this is not me, right? And it's not necessarily the recruiting, the training, and the selling, right? It's the expenses that come with all of it, right? The layer upon layer upon layer, and I'm like, because again, my exposure to business was network marketing, and I'm like, well, I didn't have any of this in ViSalus,
right?
And so I'm like, okay, how can I go offer a product to the community that is a high ticket item, right? Real estate. But also, I don't want this, but I want some sort of a business. And so as I'm having conversations with all these agents, I'm asking what they do with their money. I'm like, okay, so you're paying a coach $1,000 a month to help you build a business, but yet you haven't paid taxes in 3 years. Or you have to go sell 3 houses to make sure that you pay your mortgage, your car payment, and your groceries, right? And service your debt. And I'm like, okay, I can go solve that problem way easier than I can try to go build a 3 to 7 level business inside of the world of real estate or as a real estate team, right? Mm-hmm. And so that's how I made that transition from real estate agent to coach. Is I also go back to, again, transformation, awareness, decision, intentionality. The awareness was like, all right, I can't go sell. I'm not going to go sell 36 houses a year. That's just not my deal. And I'm not going to go build this team. And so let me go figure out how I can start doing this. And then once I got really clear, guys, on what I wanted, right? I wrote an ebook called The 5 Financial Mistakes Agents Make. The number one mistake is agents don't know what they want when they want it, which causes them to just just go fight the fire in front of them to go sell another house. And so the big shift that I had was like, hey, we want to go move to Phoenix or Las Vegas or Northeast Florida or somewhere. And if I'm selling 24 houses and making $500,000 and I move, my income goes to 0 day one.
Right.
So I had to go build something that I could plug a computer into and serve that person while I was selling a house every 90 days.
Got it.
While now, obviously with EXP, while I can go attract agents to EXP or help Maurice attract agents to EXP, because it was building a business that I could be compensated and I could live anywhere. Mm-hmm. And so that was, as I kept having these awareness and transformation conversations, I was like, my calling is to do this online, not locally in Reston, Virginia.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so that's truly how it all just went from, selling 6 to 10 houses a year to I just sold my last house.
Got it. real quick, you talked. I want to kind of you talked. You hit a lot of good stuff right there, man.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things that you said was when you start to look under the hood of some of these top producing agents and these team building agents, you realize that the engine or whatever was going on underneath that hood, you didn't want any part of it. So the question is, what did you see underneath the hood?
Mm-hmm.
Number one. And then to follow up with that, what did you see under the hood that you thought, I can change that? Like, what was that?
So I saw that team leaders were selling real estate, having to sell real estate or having to be in the weeds that funded their team. And I just, I'd read all the books and I'm like, if that person gets hurt, or the two things, one, that team leader had to be in production, and two, if they weren't in production, they were one pregnancy or one broken leg or somebody's spouse getting cancer away from it all crumbling. Because they didn't, most didn't have the money or residual income on the other side to be able to withstand it. And it was just, everything was just built. The majority of it was just built on a house of cards.
Got it.
And it's not to their, like, they weren't built on a house of cards because like they were bad people, right? It was just built that it was one person away from it all falling down. And I'm just like, that's just not what I want to go build.
Gotcha.
Right? Now, if I go, I'm a coach, I'm the only, other than a couple of virtual assistants and a coach, like if something happens to me, my coaching income would drop down. Now we have some courses and some digital products that help keep that stuff alive, and obviously a couple other businesses. But at the end of the day, if something happened to my VA, I just get another VA, right? If something happened to my coach, I would just find another coach to implement. Like it's not, it's not built on a house of cards.
I got it.
And so the other thing was that as I started learning about this stuff, Chris, I'm like, nobody's making any money. The team leaders, there's 100 houses, 100 transactions, 8, 9, 10 deals a month. And I'm like, where's all the money? Right? What did Jerry Maguire say? Show me the money.
Money.
Right? And so when I start talking to these agents and these team leaders and owners, I'm like, where is all of the money? Right? You do 100 deals, you make 100 deals, 2.5% commission, right? 2.5 million, you pay the broker 10%, just on average, right? You still got 2.2. You pay your agents 50%. There's $1.1 million. Where is it? And, a lot of it is, I have a saying, right? Your income is your greatest wealth building tool. And when it's going towards obligations, it can't go towards opportunities. And so all of this money was already spent in lead generation, marketing, salaries, office space, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And so there was no path of money. I was like, hey, when $1 million comes in, what do we do with it? And this is why I teach and certified in Profit First, is helping real estate agents and business owners implement, build, create, build, and implement Profit First all the way through their business. So now, right, when Chris goes out and builds 10 agents with staff and stuff, there's a system, there's a path of money and filters bank accounts. As money comes in, here's what happens to the money. And so Chris can actually pay himself profit, ownership, or compensation for doing work, and then also a salary for running or owning the team. And so, but so many agents and team leaders are just running and trying to put out that fire in front of them because they can't go 5 years out, turn around, look back, and connect the dots. They're just fighting that fire in front of them, which is forcing them to sell more real estate, to go pay for more obligations that are here rather than opportunities on investing in real estate or the stock market or capital funds or whatever.
So I want to ask a question, Matt. So you said something I really want to touch on the show, and we've had Josh on here before. Mm-hmm. So now you said if they're making $2 million in GCI and only $500,000 or $1 million is left. So now with those types of agents, we're talking mega agents, big influencers. What have you seen has brought them to the point to where, one, they want to talk to you and open up their hood to show you where their financials are? Because a person of that stature making that kind of money really is not going to say, hey man, here's my books to show you, here's what's going on. So how do you crack that nut to get them to even open up to you to say, hey, I need your help? Like we talked about with Josh, he had the mask on to where he was good, he was fine, but in actuality, he wasn't.
Under the hood.
So how do you get them to open up like that to you?
Yeah. So first of all, let's just make sure that the math works, right? So if you sell a $500,000 houses, that's 50,000. You got to sell 200 houses to get to those numbers we were talking about. But if you have a large team, right, 200 houses, we were just talking numbers, right? I mean, it could be $1 million in GCI, right? It doesn't matter. And so the reason people come to me are one of two, most people come to me in the place of pain, right? Because they hear somebody's story, right? They hear Josh's story, right? Or they hear Clayton's story, or they hear, Tara Carter's story, or they hear Sylvia Vega's story. And they come to me because what they have overcome, they're currently in that pain today, right? Whether it's debt or taxes, or, hey, we make $500,000 or $1 million or $250,000 or whatever it is. And they simply the money just evaporates, right? Because there's no plan. And so, and now people are coming to me from a wealth building standpoint, because they have addressed some of the stuff that we've talked about, right? Getting out of debt, getting money ready to go towards opportunities, and they just don't have opportunities to go to, right? So it's helping them navigate those pillars, or not necessarily pillars, but just moving some chess pieces and seeing a bigger picture, right? But most people, never in my life did I think, when I first started this, I thought my calendar would be filled with Josh Rogers and line them up. Yeah. Okay. Right. High A, driver, big ego, makes a bunch of money. And that is my world. Yeah. And it took me all of about 6 months to realize that the person that comes to me, 35 to 55-year-old single women. Really? One, it's the nature. It's actually how the industry itself is women for the most part, right? However, they're the ones that are vulnerable enough and will take that mask off and just let you give you in, or let you into their conversation, because they have there's a shorter window, right? Or they think that there's a shorter window. There's not, but they think there is, and they have to go make money. And they have X, Y, and Z because there's something has happened in the past, right? Whether it's been a marriage or a business partnership or whatever. And they're the ones that'll be vulnerable enough to, one, let you in, but two, they're the ones that go and do the work.
That's good. That's
crazy.
It is. 2007.
So you two big personalities, right? You got no shot with me. I got no shot with you, right?
No, I'm coming to you.
Another house, right? But you bring or the wife, right? The spouse that comes in, or the single female, or the divorced, 50-year-old. They will go to work and they'll dive right in day one.
Got it. Yeah. Let's talk about 2017. That's when you got into the real estate game. 2017, 2018, somewhere in that range. How did you do your first year?
2017. I think I sold 4 houses.
Okay.
Maybe 6.
Okay.
I couldn't have sold 6 houses. No way I sold 6 houses. I think I made $35,000.
Okay.
I was a buyer's agent on a team. And then I met Clayton Getz, who you guys both know, I think. I know Maurice knows him. I don't think Chris has spoken to him yet. He will by far be your prettiest male guest on. I will promise you that. And make sure he just wears his pink, his salmon jacket and blazer when he's on.
Okay.
But I met Clayton in 2018, and he just helped expand my mind to what was possible. He's one of those guys that knew that I could do more and believed that I was playing so far under my potential. And he just kept pushing me and pushing me and pushing me and pushing me. You know, I sold 6 houses, I think 6 or 8 in 2018, 19, 20. You know, by then I was the world's greatest real estate agent, you know, selling real estate in Northern Virginia. And 2018, 19, and 20. I mean, like, who couldn't sell a house in 18, 19, and 20, right? I'm undefeated. Like, every listing sold, every buyer got their house. And like, you know, I thought I was, top dog. And I realized that it was just called the economy. But yeah, you know, I probably have sold, I don't know, 30 houses in my time, 30, 36 houses over the course of five years or so.
So in that 3-year time frame, you were blazing. You were doing your thing.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, but I was focused on coaching. I was focused on, you know, making money, you know, starting to save up this safety net to make this move. Because, you know, in 2019, we were like, hey, we're going to move. We didn't know when and we didn't know where, but we were going to move. So all of the money came in, and we just started stacking cash to where we could go buy a house and properly move whenever that time came.
Got it.
So let me ask you this then. So I just want to ask you really quick. So you talk about you coach majority females. So now in that group of females, broker owners, let's talk about it. Have you coached broker owners in your time as coaching?
Not females. I have a couple guy clients that are broker owners. That's fairly irrelevant, that part. Now it's probably 50-50, but most of my clients are solo agents or team leaders. I have one or two people that own their brokerage.
Gotcha. And so, and those broker owners, what is the one thing that has really got them to come to you? Was it just really about the money, or was it they have too much staff? Or can you give some specifics of what those things look like for them as a broker owner?
You know, I think for the people that own their own brokerage that I've talked to, so much of it comes down to the path of money. And they're in production to make the wheel work. Which I think if you're an owner of a brokerage, I just have a hard time believing that your agents love that you have 10 listings on the board. And again, that might just be the, part of it. And again, everybody can run their business the same, their own way. Like I don't judge by any means, but I just think the broker owner's biggest challenge out there is one, liability, right? I mean, if I'm a broker owner and I've got 10 people out there and they go sell 100 houses a year, that's 200 opportunities to be sued, right? And that's just weight that people just don't have to carry. But people do, and people are successful with it. I just think that the cost of the brokerage, the overhead, and the lack of path of money, whether they sell the house or the agent sells the house, is a little broken, and there are leaks in the boat. And it comes back to the analogy I use. If you're trying to get from one side of the lake to the other, and there are leaks in the boat, does it matter how fast you paddle?
No.
And that's true with a broker owner, a team leader, or a solo agent. They have to go sell X to fund Y,
right?
And are banking on Z being left over, and generally it's not. And so how I help that person is I put Z at the front of that equation, right? When they go sell X, Z gets paid first, and Y gets what's left, which is the business, which is profit first.
Gotcha. Okay.
Mm-hmm. There was something that you said when you were talking about when the broker owner is kind of like a competing agent and they have 10 listings on the board. Mm-hmm. What does that do psychologically to the other agents on the team?
I mean, I don't know if it does anything. That's just that's more of a personal opinion. I'm like, okay, hey, if you're going to go be the owner, go be the owner.
Sure.
Mm-hmm. Right? Because if we look at, you mentioned Josh. If we look at Josh's makeup, I have full transparency to talk about this. Like, if you look at Josh's makeup of his business, right? I mean, 98% of the transactions on that team are the team, right? Josh owns the team, right? And so I think if you look at that model and say, okay, hey, I know the profitability of that model. That model works in every market. That model works in every, at 8% interest rate and at 4% interest rate. And so, like, let's just go build that model because that model works.
Right.
And so, and that's all through using profit first. So I think if broker owners look back and they get their personal finances or team lead, it doesn't matter who it is.
Sure.
If you look at it through the lens of personal wealth building and personal finances and what's required to go do that, then it'll be easier to determine how we can go build your business using the model that you've attached yourself to, whether that's with a traditional brokerage or a cloud-based brokerage or a brick and mortar brokerage or an independent brokerage. Like that's, but it all starts at personal, and most people do it the other way around and they try to go build it through the lens of the business. And, next thing you know, you've got $50,000 a month of expenses and you have to go have 20 closings.
Right. Right.
Gotcha. And it's built backwards.
Gotcha. Well, you got one, Maurice?
No, go ahead. I got one, but go ahead. Matt, I'll finish after you.
So let's go. I want to ask a question because this is something that's on my heart. Excuse me, I have to say. Usually they talk about when coaches start coaching, it's because they're not producing, right? You heard that. Right. You heard that, right? So when the time frame came that you were trying to switch the hat from a producer to a coach, did that ever come up in your thought process? And if it did, how did you handle it?
No, it never came up simply because I wasn't coaching on production.
Okay.
Now, part of my conversations, like if I coach Maurice, right, and we talk about wealth building and path of money and debt and savings and all of that, there's going to be a time and a place for me to say, hey, dude, like we need more sales. We need to go make more money. Yeah. Right. And then I'll talk about, show me your calendar or show me this. Right. But again, show me how many calls you've made in the last 10 days. Production.
Yep.
Right. And so I don't sell a house, but I have 35 coaching clients. So that smells like a lot like, 3 listings a month.
That's good.
Right. It's just people. Right. And so whether I'm having conversations with agents about coaching, or you're having conversations with homeowners about buying or selling a house, I'll go show you my calendar the last 4 years. I'll go show you my CRM, right? I'll show you that we've made a Facebook post every day for the last 3.5 years. So like, there's no imposter syndrome because you can just go back and just start scrolling and you can see that the work's been done, right? I just did the work.
I love it.
The conversations with a different person, but it's still the same work.
I love it.
Right. Yes. And so, because you look at the top coaches, right, that are out there, they don't sell real estate. And most of them haven't sold real estate in a decade. And I'm okay with that.
That's good. That's good.
Because if I hire a coach, right, when I hired Hank, I didn't ask him how many houses he sold. I was like, what's your bank account? What's your reoccurring income? How many people are in your calendar? And is this possible in 3 years?
I love it. That's good.
Yes,
yes. We've had people on the show before, and we asked that question before, the importance of a coach. Do they need it? Do they think it will help them in their careers? And we've had this. I think it's been both ways, right, Maurice? It's been both ways.
Been both ways.
what is your thought process when it comes
100%.
to
100%. You have to have a coach. If you want to do anything, and again, this might sound rude or,
not on this show.
It's not, right? But I mean, if you want to do anything worthwhile and purposeful and go build something, you have to have somebody that's further ahead, pulling you, coaching you, and pushing you further.
That's good.
Because if not, it's too easy to, especially now, when 90% of us don't have to go into an office and they don't see other producers, right? And we're just stuck on these Zoom calls, or now, our business is literally right here on our phone.
Yep.
Nobody's pushing us. And if you're not paying $1,000, $2,000, $3,000, $5,000 a month to someone to help you go build what you said you wanted, like, what are we doing? Just go sell a house or two a month and just, call it what it is, or maybe even more. But the day you get hurt, or the day you get sick, or the day your spouse comes home or unfortunately doesn't come home, the day all of that changes, and like you don't have anyone there coaching you through that process, right? You're like starting at zero, right? Or you lose your job, or you whatever. And so I look back over the last 4 years, I've spent probably $100,000 in coaching, training, events, masterminds, et cetera. And it's, my skill set and my ability to go do X, Y, and Z is, 10x that.
Gotcha.
That's good.
So I want to ask this question. I know we're all EXP agents. So for you, why EXP?
I love it. That was where I was going.
I mean, when I got exposed to EXP was actually before I even joined, or I didn't even have a license. Sorry, I didn't even have a real estate license. And it just, when I got exposed, I'm like, why doesn't everybody join EXP?
Right.
I ask that question all the time.
So this is 2000.
I didn't know. I did not know anything. I did not know how to sell a house. I wasn't an agent.
Gotcha.
Right. But I had a business mind.
That's
right?
it.
I had a mind of an entrepreneur. And so when I saw it, I'm like, well, this just makes sense. Right. Nobody on the planet needs an office to actually go sell real estate. Right. There hasn't ever been a listing conducted in the office at First and Main Street. It's always at the person's house. Right. At the seller's house. Right. And so I was just like, when I saw the model in mid 2016, I'm like, well, yeah, if I ever get my real estate license, I'm just going to join EXP. And I didn't. I was at a different brokerage for about 8 months, and then I joined EXP because I was looking for the person. I wasn't looking for the brokerage or the model. I already knew I had the model. I was looking for the right person to attach my rope to, and that was Clayton, right? And Josh, right? So it was funny. I said, Josh, I was like, hey, dude, let's go do EXP first. Let's go do this. And he was like, hey, cowboy, why don't you get your license and see if you're actually in real estate 12 months from now? And then we'll talk about what brokerage that I'm bringing my entire team to.
Right.
Because there was a time in my life where I was known for doing this and then this and then this and then this. Consistency was not a part of my DNA like it is today. And so, when it came time to just like, I got everything I wanted at EXP. I had the ability to go sell a high widget ticket, right? A house with a low cost to me, right? A $16,000 cap. I had the ability to go build something, right? When I looked under that hood, I saw all of that overhead to go recruit 10, 12 agents and all of that staff and everything. And that didn't exist at EXP as a solo agent. And then when you look at the other perks and the people, and that's where I met Hank, my coach, and everything else. Like, it just made all the sense in the world.
Gotcha.
I did not. I'm not a water cooler guy. I didn't need to go and say, hey, Maurice, did you watch the Colts last week or the Jags? Right.
Yeah.
And I didn't need that. I just needed 200 people for me to have conversations with, and the rest was going to take care of itself.
So real quick, Chris, let me ask this question. So what was that conversation like? Because I've heard it from Josh's side. What was the conversation like from your point of view? I mean, you're a solo agent, not really selling as many, because Josh is at this point, he's still doing very high numbers. What was that conversation like for you to get him to say, okay, hey, let me at least be open-minded to this?
There you go.
Yeah, so it actually wasn't with me personally. It was with someone else that was one of his peers.
Got you. Okay.
And so the three of us actually talked to Clayton together.
Okay.
Because, we saw a little bit of a small uptick, in that 12 months that we didn't join. EXP maybe went from like 1,000 or 1,500 agents to like 5,000. So it wasn't anything massive, but it was enough. And, I think at the core, Josh and I are both people that want to be, pioneers and take arrows in the back. And I think that's just our makeup.
Mm-hmm.
And it, again, wasn't necessarily the what, it was the who. Like, we were both looking for a who that we could attach our wagon to. And it just happened to be Clayton. And I mean, EXP was probably where we were always going to land. But, it was more Clayton and the three of us combined rather than, Clayton's business, Josh's business, and then whatever Matt does.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Mm-hmm. Gotcha.
At this point, Matt, you're not in production. Mm-hmm. So is the focus now recruit, or how does that conversation go?
Yeah, so my focus today is serve the person in front of me without an agenda.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Right. So when I'm having a conversation with Susie, I mean, unless that person has told me that, hey, I want to have a conversation about this, right? I'm just asking questions.
Mm-hmm.
Right? How can I serve this person with no agenda? Right? Can I give her a tool? Can I have do a quick budget conversation? Can I talk to her about profit first? Is it, what solves their problem? Mm-hmm. And what gets them out of pain the fastest? Mm-hmm. Right? And so I've had coaching clients where EXP Realty did not solve their problem. So we just don't talk about it. Mm-hmm. I've had friends that EXP doesn't solve their problem. But also, we make sure that we focus on math versus drama.
That's good.
Right? So if drama is coming into the conversation, either through brokerage or not getting paid, or, hey, this or that, or, whatever, and EXP solves that, then we talk about it. Whether you're a coaching client or not, because it solves the problem. Doesn't matter.
That's good.
Right? So I would say majority of my conversations are definitely about financial coaching, and then sprinkle in the, conversations about, does EXP solve your problem?
Gotcha. What do you see from Matt in the next, 2 to 5 years? 2 to 5 years. What's with Matt on a personal level, as far as business on a personal level, and then what do you see within the EXP within the next 2 to 5 years?
Well, 5 years is the big 5-0. So I've got to see that, right? Okay. I got to see the big 5-0. I think for me, from personally in the business, my business is there's a, it's a functioning business where if I would want to step out for 2, 3, 4 months, there is a way that people are served without necessarily me being on camera live 3 to 6 hours a day. 5 years from now. And that's just, I have that written down. I write it down in my goals every day, is that there's some sort of a 7-figure business that's running, whether I'm live on camera or not, right? Daily. Okay. EXP, I mean, we have, the leadership has this mantra of, 5,000 agents in, 50 countries in 5 years. I think that's going to be a big number to get in 5 years, simply because I think there are going to be the same amount of agents that get their license will probably be a similar number that leave the industry. And so it's going to be really hard to go from 90 or whatever we are to 500,000 in that short a time frame, because I think the retention of agents, period, is just going to be in and out. Mm-hmm. Now, I still think I believe it'll be on an upward trend forever. Right? I don't think we'll ever go down. The cloud-based brokerages are not going to go away. There's just going to be more and more of them. So I think more agents will end up joining EXP, but I think the agents that are at EXP that aren't in production, that just will just leave. They're not going to go join another brokerage. They're just going to leave the industry. So I think the reason why that number doesn't get to a certain number is because agents leave the industry, and if they're at brokerage XYZ, they never get to EXP because they end up leaving the industry.
That's good.
So I think whatever that number is, right? Nobody knows what that number is. It's going to be a much bigger number than it is today, right? Yeah. And so if you're like you guys, Chris, you're what, 90 days or so ish, right, at EXP. Like the opportunity for someone like you with 90,000 agents, all the tech is built out, the company's only getting better. Like the opportunity for someone like you who just joined or that hasn't joined yet to go grow whatever real estate business or rev share organization that you want to have is a bigger opportunity over these 5 years than it was for Josh and I the previous 5. Does that make sense? Because we didn't have the stuff that you have now today. Now we have it today, but we didn't have it 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Where you come in, somebody comes in day one, like all of the gravel and speed bumps and potholes and trees have been taken care of.
Yeah.
Like you join today, you can get to 70 miles an hour so fast.
Right.
And there's no traffic.
Wow.
Right. It's just there's just smooth sailing, 75 miles an hour right up and down the interstate. You can get there so much quicker today than you could 5 years ago. So 5 years from now, how much easier is it going to be when we have 125, 200, 300,000 agents in 30 or 40 countries? Like it's just going to be so much easier to get up and running and agents to move over to EXP.
Right.
So Matt, let me ask you a question. So almost 7 years in the business, what would you change as far as your business and trajectory and what you have, or something you go back and say, man, I wish I could have done that over again?
What I could have done differently?
Yes.
Knowing
what you know now.
Oh, I mean, I think that's just easy. I just would have had more intentional conversations. I mean, I wouldn't have let 3 hours go by from 11 to 3 because I didn't have anyone on my calendar. And I wouldn't have thought I was working when all I was doing was just messing around. I was playing realtor, right? Or I was playing coach, right? And I learned that from Josh, right? He's like, when I started, he was like, what'd you do today? I was like, I did this. And he's like, bro, I had a couple of calls and, I had a buyer appointment. He was like, cool. What'd you do the other 7 hours? And I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, you had 2 coaching calls and you had a buyer consult. What'd you do the other 7 hours? And there was silence. Right? Same thing as the turkey asked me now when I'm like, hey dude, I did this. Melinda did this and this, and life is good. And he's like, hey bro, how's your quiet time? And I'm like, I just don't like you anymore. Why don't you just say
Josh will make you feel it.
And I'm like, dang it. Right?
Josh will be like, hey man, I'm a grown man. Bye.
You do not. And he was like, yeah, I do earn the right to do that after, a decade of being your friend. But I think ultimately, if we look back, it's just not taking advantage of opportunities and being intentional with time. Something I heard, did you guys know Myron Golden?
Yes.
Myron Golden said this at Funnel Hacking Live in 2019 or 2020. Can't remember which one. And he said the biggest difference, well, first of all, he said he asked a question, what is your biggest expense? I'll ask you, Chris, what's the biggest expense you have in life? Financial expense. What's your biggest financial expense?
Like time management.
It could be anything. Like just, it could be money. It could be taxes. It could be mortgages. Like whatever. What do you think your biggest expense is?
Probably mortgage.
Okay, Maurice.
Same thing.
Good.
Mortgage.
All right. So in Myron's world, or Myron's thinking, right? He explained it this way. So let's say you make $200,000 and you pay 30% taxes.
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to spend $60,000 in taxes. Probably your biggest expense, right? Throughout the year. He said, if I make $2 million and you make $200,000, I make $1.8 million more than you. So your biggest expense is your inability to go make the other $1.8 million. Because that is way more than whatever tax bill you'll ever have. And so he said, successful people collapse and compress time. Unsuccessful people expand it. Right? So if Chris makes $100,000 and I make $1 million, right? I'm not better than Chris, right? All I did was figure out how to make $100,000 10 times faster.
In the same amount of time.
So my biggest expense, or what I would have done differently, was increase the velocity of how many times I could make $10,000.
There you go. That's good.
Whether it's real estate or coaching or shake mix or whatever, right? Or recruiting, right? One of our biggest leaders at EXP, Brent Gove. The reason why his organization is the size he is today is because he got 40 people faster than anybody's ever gotten 40 frontline ever, or FLQA. Less than 6 months. And today it's 19 some odd thousand people. Because he compressed time and got 40 FLQA in 6 months, not 6 years.
That's good.
So my biggest, the thing that I'm worried about over the next 5 years is intentional conversations. Serving the person in front of me without an agenda and just repetition. Increasing the velocity of that.
Gotcha.
Man.
That was good, man. Man, we out of time here, man. We out of time, man.
Oh, we got more questions.
I know Chris got a bunch of questions he wrote down. He got his notepad sitting next to him.
Maybe we got part 2 coming up in a month or two.
We got to do another part 2.
Hey, we got to do a part 2, man. Part 2.
Right.
Hey, so Matt, can you leave us on a final thought? I mean, something that the listeners can take with them, that you can put out there.
Well, I think, most of the people that are going to be listening to this are some sort of real estate agent, right? Yeah. Whether it's a real estate agent, a real estate entrepreneur, real estate investor. Yeah. And I would say, I have an acronym for wealth, right? WEALTH. Wisdom, education, accumulate, lend, track, and then actually health, right? The health of yourself and the health of money, right? So wisdom, educate, accumulate, lend, track, health. And wherever you are in your journey, it's okay to be there. It's just not okay to stay there. So wherever you're listening to this and you're a brand new agent, you're listening to this, and you hadn't paid taxes in 2 years, you're listening to this and your wife, you and your spouse just had a knockdown, drag out fight because, a closing fell through and you guys can't pay the mortgage. Wherever, or you've got $10 million in net worth, right? Doesn't matter to me. It's okay to be where you are. It's not okay to stay there. And so focus on the thing that's in front of you, but I challenge you to go out 1, 2, 3, 5 years and write down what your life looks like. I've got a $10 million a year business. I make $1 million a year. I weigh 200 pounds. I'm pain free. We have a house in Cabo. I'm a member of a private golf course, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, on whatever it is. And then map how to get there and identify the who that can help you get to the next place. This is not about what. This is not about how. This is not about, trying to figure out how to go sell more real estate. Who is the person that can help you get to the next rung on the ladder? and go through the cycle of transformation: awareness, decision, intentionality. I weigh 300 pounds. I'm an alcoholic. I bet on sports. My marriage is in shambles. I made $300,000 last year and I have $12 in my bank account. Whatever. It's okay to be there. It's not okay to stay there. And take the next best step. And that might be reach out to a mentor like Chris or Maurice. It might be to reach out to a financial coach like me. It might reach out to a friend and have that conversation about how your walk is with Jesus. Whatever it is. Somebody is there that has dropped breadcrumbs along the way and has their hand out to reach back and to help you along the way.
That's good.
That's good, man.
That's good, man. Listen. Wow. So many nuggets, so many things. I'm a writer. I write stuff, man. So many nuggets that you dropped today, man. You came in transparency, brought tons of value to the table. Real quick, I don't know, how, if somebody wants to reach out to you, how can they reach out to you? What's the best way to reach you? Maurice, is there a way to put it in the chats or something?
Yeah, at Coach Matt Plumer on Instagram, and then Matt Plumer on Facebook. By far the two easiest ways to get a hold of me.
At Coach Matt Plumer on Instagram.
At Coach Matt Plumer on Instagram. There's plenty of stuff. You can get my ebook on both places. The ebook's 5 financialmistakes.com. The 5 financialmistakes.com. I walk you through. It's a quick 20-page read. That's a great place for a lot of people to start.
Gotcha. Well, Matt, man, we appreciate you, man, for coming on here, being transparent, showing us the way, giving us nothing but nuggets and wisdom. I can tell why you're one of the top. You're doing some amazing things in the industry, within our company. I'm so glad to be in connection with you. I guess we related, in the family, right? We're in the family. So if there's anything that we could do for you, man, to help you out in your journey, anything that we could do for you from the show's perspective, please don't hesitate. Reach out to us. We're there. You got our 100% support in everything that you're doing.
Absolutely.
Yeah, 100 guys. I've appreciated this, and this has been a great time. Congratulations on the podcast, the conversation, your show. I told Maurice if he had any. You asked me, I was like, "Hey man, great job," and you're like, "Hey, do you have any advice?" And if I remember correctly,
I did say, "Hey, what do you think we do better?" Yeah,
don't stop.
Yeah.
Just do it and don't stop. I mean, you mentioned Dave Ramsey. Dave's a mentor of mine, whether he knows it or not. And I mean, Dave has said the exact same thing for 30 years, and is probably approaching a 10-figure net worth, right? And he has literally said the same thing over and over and over, 3 hours a day for 30 years. So go do that, guys, and you're going to keep crushing it.
Keep crushing.
Absolutely,
wow.
Man.
Thank you.
Thank you. Man. Appreciate you.
So,
well, listen, thank you, Matt.
Signing off. Have a good day.
Have a good day, guys. So listen, everybody. We're back.
Yep. Go ahead, brother. I'm about to get back downstairs.
I know you're about to crush it. I know you're about to go down there, man. Don't be drinking up all them people liquor down there now. Don't be drinking that.
Hey, look. I'm about to get all their liquor. They got free liquor everywhere. I'm getting it. I'm about to go down here.
And we have another event. We have an event coming up. That's going to be next year. It's going to be an EXP event next year, but it's going to be in Miami.
Absolutely,
so if
man.
anybody's listening to this doggone podcast and want to connect with myself or Maurice here at the Real Estate, Real Talk of Real Estate, and want to take advantage of that, reach out to us. We got a lot of momentum happening. We got a lot of great things happening in the city. Do we got another event come on that we can talk about on this podcast? Anything you can think of?
We don't have anything confirmed yet. So one thing I know, we're collaborating with Angie Lawson on her event on October 20th at Landmark Title. And another event, we're still working the details out on that. But right now we are solidified with Angie Lawson from TNT Transaction Coordination. Yeah, we're going to be one of her partnerships for that event on October 20th at Landmark Title. It's going to be a lunch and learn from 11 to 1:30. So,
absolutely. Also, I wanted to mention this. A good friend of the show, Katrina Abdullah, one of our EXP coaches. She's doing some amazing things within the company.
Yes.
She's an impact coach. She's a real estate coach, all that great stuff. She has an event tomorrow called the Newsletter Mastery, How to Stay Top of Mind. That's going to be tomorrow, October the 4th, from 11 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. at E-Town. That's 11003 E-Town Parkway here in Jacksonville, Florida. So if you're not, that's another thing sponsored by Iron Sharpens Iron, I believe, right?
Absolutely, Iron Sharpens Iron. Yeah. Hey man, I'm actually looking forward to having Katrina on the show next week, man. So
let's it's gonna be an awesome show.
Yep.
She's doing some amazing thing in the city.
Yep.
I mean, her coaching style is just amazing. So
absolutely,
if you're not doing anything tomorrow, or if you can cancel what you're doing tomorrow and go take advantage of that mastery class, Katrina's gonna be dropping some nothing but jewels tomorrow from 11 to 12:30. So go check her out. Anything else?
All right, man. I think that we covered everything else, man.
I know you ready to get down there and go party.
Hey,
I can see it all.
Let's go.
We got to get us stuff to the people, man. We got to get us stuff to the people. Listen, guys, until next week, next time we're going to be back here next Tuesday from 6 to 7. Real Talk of Real Estate every Tuesday night from 6 to 7, where we bring you some of the top real estate agents and top professionals in the industry, bringing you nothing but jewels and gems and dropping nuggets on you guys. So until next time, don't talk about it, be about it. We out. Peace.
Yeah. Out.